Hey guys, this is Stanley, your sales guy. Hey, today we're going to talk about my favorite subject, which is sales. All right, we got a pretty interesting subject for us today, and it hits you right between the eyes. So listen up. The topic for today is selling and fear. What do you say? Selling and dealing with fear. Well, that's a pretty good topic because, at one point in our life, everybody's had a little bit of fear. And in reality, they call that false evidence appearing real. That means a lot of times we think something's really going to happen that's bad. We're a little afraid. We don't know what to do. We think we're going to say the wrong things. People aren't going to like us. People are going to treat us mean. They're going to sick the dog on us. My name is Stanley, your sales guy. I told you I'd tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything there is to do with selling, the warts and all. In reality, in my own selling career, I've dealt with fear many times. And I tell it on myself. And the reason why I'm sharing that with you is, let's just say, for instance, you start a new opportunity with another company, you're going to be selling their products. And you don't know everybody. You don't know the lingo yet. You don't know the product yet. You don't know your customers. You don't know your leads. You don't know how to deal with scenarios because you hadn't dealt with them. Now, if you're going from one type of sales job to the other, which is in the same field, it's a little bit easier. But when you're changing careers and you're trying to figure out, well, what's the best fit for me? You're going to run into that thing called fear. Okay, it's real. False evidence appearing real. In selling, I've been around in sales in some form or capacity since the 80s. It's been a long time. And recently this came to me, and I had to start going more door to door. Before I would, talk to customers. I had leads. I'd go see the leads. I'd do a little cloverleaf go and knock on a couple of doors. But recently, I've got another sales opportunity. It's been a while, though. But it came to my mind, that when I first started, I was a little apprehensive because I had to knock on more doors than normally I used to. And it was kind of like a little fearful because, if you don't get your feet wet, first of all, what that means is if you don't go out there and do the work, you're not going to overcome your fear. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because even somebody who's had as much experience in sales as I do still sometimes deals with fear. Okay, it's the truth. The false evidence appearing real. It'll slap you right upside the head and make you get a little bit of scared. And my name is Stanley, your sales guy, and I try to tell you, the truth about, what it's like to be a salesperson and the things that you deal with. And in reality, when you're dealing with sales, you got to deal with a lot of different scenarios, new objections, new pricing, new selling techniques and ideas. Selling is a great career. It's an opportunity that gives you the capability to make a lot of money. And, I've always had 2 or 3 sales jobs, and I still do. And it's my business. I like to make money. I like to make the world go around because that's what we do as salespeople. We make the world go around. And without salespeople, nothing gets sold. That's just the reality of it. I'm here in Florida. It's a little bit hot today. So if I look like I'm sweating, okay, I am sweating. Getting ready to go to a meeting, getting ready to go see some cool people and hang out. I had a great day today, and this came to my mind. I was at church, and this just popped right between my eyes, fear. Okay, and I'm thinking to myself, well, what do I need to talk about? I need to share the truth because people don't like to talk about, they gloss over all the good stuff. When you go to work for a lot of companies, they'll give you the rah-rah, yeah, you're going to do real good, fist bump, boom, and then they say, go ahead, go sell something. And then if you don't know what to do, if you're a brand new salesperson, you're kind of like, dang, what do I do now? Okay. And then what happens is you just kind of struggle. So if you are struggling and you're afraid, you're right where you need to be, okay? The only way to get over fear is to look it right in the eye and then do those things that we fear most. It's very important. If you have a fear about anything, I don't care what it is, until you do the steps to get through the fear and go through the fear, you can't get over it. It just stays with you. I'm not saying that. Hey, I'm gonna be quite honest with you. I'm in sales every day, and I get full of fear sometimes because I know I got to pay my bills. I work on commission. I got to make money. I got to make sure my kid is taken care of. I got to make sure my mortgage is paid, and I got to take care of all the bills. And so you get that fear factor popping in sometimes that, hey, I may not make the money I need to do. What do I need to do? And a lot of times we get that thing called salesman's breath because we got so much fear in us, and it kind of tears us up and it takes us off our game. Selling is a great opportunity. It's a great job. I love it with all my heart because it's something that I've grown into and I've really enjoyed it. But I still have this occasional fear. A lot of times we think we're the cat's meow. I'm number one. I've done real good. I'm going to do great. And then I get this little thing that says, who are you? You get a little bit of fear. You get that false evidence appearing real. It makes you feel as though, hey, I might not be as competent at this job as I thought I was. And I'm sharing this because it's the truth. Even people who've been in sales for a long time like me still have our moments of fear. It's the truth, guys. And it's okay if you have that fear, but it's what we do with our fear that matters the most. You can stay in your fear and it can just isolate you. It can turn you into a person who doesn't succeed. A lot of jobs, it don't matter what kind of career, you got to start somewhere and you got to deal with the reality of the things that you got to go through. Fear is just a part of life. Fear can be good. It'll keep you on your game. If you don't have any fear at all, you got to ask yourself, well, have I learned my product and my job so well that I'm perfect at what I am? And what I'm doing? No, nobody's perfect. But if you've been in your sales job and you've been doing the same job for a long time, it gets a whole lot easier. But that don't mean you ain't got people breathing down your neck saying, what have you done for me lately, man? You got to make some money. You got to make the sale because we got to make sales daily, weekly, and monthly. And we got those yearly goals that we have to get in motion. And when you have fear about what's going to happen in the future, what you've done is you've given yourself bad expectations. Fear is sometimes a good thing because it makes you do those things that you need to do. You need to study the art of selling. You've got to learn your craft. You got to learn your products. You've got to learn how to communicate with people and have a good selling conversation. Selling conversations become easier once you've done the sell over and over and over. Even when I knock on that door, it's like I still get a little bit of fear in me. Because I don't know if the boogeyman is on the other side of that door, and a lot of times people are real nice. They may say no, and the reason why they may say no is because they don't know. And my simple job is to help them learn about what I got to sell and overcoming that fear. Selling is a process, and fear is a part of that. We just have to master our sales. We have to master our fear, false evidence appearing real. Our topic for today is selling and fear. Fear can really destroy a person's wanting to be the best that they can be because they get these objections, these things that hurt their feelings when people say no. I mean, sometimes it hurts when the customer tells you no because, you need to make a sale. And a lot of times salespeople, we're like, we're actors, we're entertainers. We are people that are fact finders. We're the people that make people invest in things without, a lot of times if we didn't ask for the order, nobody would even ask for it. And if you ain't selling and asking for the order, you ain't doing your job. And false evidence appearing real. Fear can be a motivator, an educator, and it can also be a stumbling block. So remember, if you have fear, talk to your mentors, talk to your management. Don't be afraid to talk to them because, see, they've been there, they've done that, and they've probably written a whole bunch of them checks. And in reality, we have to remember that fear is just a part of life. Fear. But it's what we do with our fear that matters. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I thought after all these years as being a salesperson, I could have overcome 100% of the fear. It's a lie. You're always going to have some kind of fear, because, see, we all got to make the big deals. We got to make the money. We work on commission, honey. We got to make them sales. And if you're a salesperson and you're trying to do good in your job, Well, you have to deal with the reality. Everybody has fear sometimes, and it's okay. So if you're a brand new salesperson or a person who's been in sales for a long time and you're starting a new job or you're going to a new job or a new career or you're selling a new product, the more you do something, the easier it becomes. That's just the reality. It don't matter what you're into, sports, you can be into anything, educational, whatever. Fear is always a factor. But again, I keep stressing, it's how we deal with it. And listen, when people tell you no and they say they object, don't be afraid of those objections. Don't be afraid when people tell you no. And a lot of times it's what they call a numbers game. The more people you talk to about your product and the better you get at your selling communications, you'll do real good. But it takes a little bit of time.